Hello and welcome to the Shut-In Talk Show. It's me, it's DJP, and with me as always is...
Gavin the Chef Cook. What's happening, Pickett?
We're actually here doing the show. That's what's happening, Gavin. For those who may not have realized it or noticed, we've not had the show for 2 weeks now. This is our first appearance in 2 weeks. Because 2 weeks ago, I totally forgot to mention 3 weeks ago that we were already not going to have that. There was a game going on. It was not going to happen.
Yeah.
And then last week we were supposed to be back on, but then one of the games that did get canceled got postponed to our show again. So we lost 2 weeks due to sports, which was sad. I also couldn't do Alt Z either. I couldn't do either of my shows the last 2 weeks. It's been very sad.
Yeah,
I've had a lot. I've had too much free time. This is compared to what I normally have.
Yeah.
I almost don't know what to do.
You guys are lucky because I had to hear all of it.
Nah. Yeah, that's true because your shifts were fine, and my one shift was also fine, and that's just. But this is the fun. This is the most fun we get to have.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
You know, so it's like
just,
it's very unfortunate. But yeah, we have some stuff to talk about. A part of me was afraid that because we missed 2 weeks, it would be like, oh man, well I guess if we don't have enough stuff, we can talk about old news. But no, this past week has had more than enough for us to talk about, especially this past Sunday, which not only was the Super Bowl, but also has everybody's, depending on your interest in life, one of the top 2 favorite things about it, being the movie trailers that occur. And one of them was a very big one that all of us have been just dying to see, and that is the trailer for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Oh, yeah.
And... yeah, which is kind of crazy that we're getting like this second trailer that's like really like going nuts. Because after this was over, I was like, "What is happening? This is absurd." And it's crazy. We were supposed to see this movie in like 2 weeks or like 3 weeks. It was supposed to come out in March. I was gonna say originally that was like its 8th date, but it is for sure coming out on May 6th. Yeah. Is that right? May 6th? Does that sound right?
Yes,
I don't.
May 6th.
Okay.
Because that's when that's where everything, when they had to like do pushing and stuff, that's where it ended up.
Yes. All right. Which good. Thank God that I'm upset that I have to wait like another 3 months. That's kind of rough. But I would honestly be okay with this trailer holding us over because what didn't happen in this trailer, Gavin? I mean, good Lord.
Literally no.
Everything in this trailer happened, which means this movie, which I heard was pushing 3 hours, is going to be the most. Like we all thought Spider-Man was nuts, but that just opened the door. It's like, oh, this was nuts and worked. So now we know for sure that we can just triple down on what this movie's going to be.
It's supposed to be their foray into horror.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Well,
as
Kevin Feige said, it's their first attempt at like a horror with horror elements.
Right.
Because obviously Marvel's not going to pump out like a full-blown horror film.
Yeah, I don't expect that. It'd be kind of cool, but...
well, I mean, we'll get... for right now, the closest we'll get is Blade.
Yeah, probably.
In which I think Doctor Strange is a good start.
I agree, yeah. Because you can introduce... because from what they're showing from this trailer, they can introduce literally anything, and whether it matters or not in the long grand scheme of things doesn't matter, because that's the whole thing. Like, I mentioned this to you this past week, or I guess the past couple of days, talking about this trailer. Before we start getting into some like nitty-gritty details of it, I realized that with them having the whole multiverse thing happening over the last year, like actually like having that stuff happen, period, is nuts. Because like it started with WandaVision, it's like, are they really teasing this? And then they were, and then Loki just blew the doors off of everything, and then Spider-Man literally just had to happen, and now this is happening, but times 12.
Yeah.
It's like they're now getting to a point where pretty much after this, I would think from that movie releasing onwards, they can essentially do what the comics do, where now from any movie or show they make from here on out, they can be like, well, this is this version of this character. Some of these things that happened count, but these ones don't. And they can get pick and choosy about like specifically what versions of characters are. Because now some people, you had mentioned this to me earlier, like, oh, well, how can so-and-so, if this character really is in this movie, how can they be if they died in this movie? It's like, 1, more than likely completely different person, just played by the same person and similar character. 2,
in this case, it's not like that, but
right.
The whole thing about the multiverse is it doesn't have to be a specific version.
Exactly. It can be literally anything.
There are literally like 80 different versions of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And so like
one of the
because
biggest
like 70 different Peter Parkers
Yeah.
doesn't mean that they're all good guys or
Right. And some are like different in the slightest of ways. It's just a matter of like that's just how comic books work. Like a different writer, different ideas, whatever, like they can just pick and choose what's the same and what's different. And now having that with a whole, like cinematic universe is, kind of like unheard of. You know what I mean? But that seems like they absolutely can roll with that for forever now with this. So to go into the trailer, to not waste too much more time, it has some similar things to start off like with the last trailer had, but giving some more details. Like it shows like Doctor Strange just waking up and freaking out and all this stuff. But now he's specifically saying in this trailer, like, he goes to sleep and he has the same dream. So he's having some form of, like, nightmare about something bad. He's, like, seeing all this, like, weird, like, buildings in the middle of nowhere. And, like, all then just starts, like, seemingly showing a bunch of different universes and, like, tragedies happening. And then, like, he wakes up after, like, seeing all this stuff and doesn't know what's going on. And then he's talking with Wong. And he's obviously, he's talking about after the end of Spider-Man, he's like, you almost had the entire multiverse, like, collapse on itself and show up into ours. That ain't cool. Like, and now, like, even though you, like, fixed it, air quotes, you didn't really. And things are getting real rough. And I wasn't sure because, like, they were really lied about in the first trailer because, of course, they were. The biggest thing with that one was that they showed Shumagorath from the Marvel vs. Capcom games. Like, that's literally where he was created from. The big octopus with the eye.
It's not Shumagorath.
It is Shuma. They probably won't call him by name, but yeah, no, that is who that is.
How do you know?
Because it looks exactly like him.
Well, that doesn't.
And also, he showed up in What If, which again, doesn't really mean anything, but still.
My head hurt, Pickett.
I know it does. That's why it hurts my head because that character was literally made for a fighting game like over 20 years ago, but here he is in giant CGI movie form. But that was like one of the big things outside of like actually showing Wanda and some weird Doctor Who special effects universe traveling thing. And then we got more of that in this. But then they just, I mean, if this is how much they're showing and how big they're going with teases and like possible reveals in the second trailer, what's gonna happen in the actual movie?
Yeah.
I mean, like the possibilities of like just tiny things people are noticing about this trailer. I mean, it's absurd. Like, just like all these, there's been like a bunch of possibilities and rumors and wants from people. One of the big things, I'll just jump to that. Like outside of showing like more of Scarlet Witch, of Wanda being in this, no Loki they showed, which I just realized is interesting because they confirmed he's in it, like forever ago. But they did not show him at all.
I'll get to that later on when we get to a certain part.
But I think
I
a big thing we should jump to. That's maybe not a lot of people know about because I had to be refreshed on it when it happened because like it's not being made entirely certain like what's like the bad thing happening because like it shows parts of like the universe looking all weird and like the world looking not normal, but it's not like the mirror dimension either that Doctor Strange has brought up before. It's just reality's like maybe not collapsing but everything's weird and like people are running for their lives from stuff but it doesn't show you what. And then it just starts going around like Wanda seems like a big thing from this too is that Wanda's like you break the rules and everyone sees you as a hero. I break the rules, not an enemy. That doesn't seem fair. And it's like, oh no, that is because I was like, I don't expect it, but it is possible that at least some point in this movie, Wanda becomes like the main villain. At least that's what they're setting it up to be.
They've been saying this for a while.
That is also true. Yeah,
it's becoming more and more of a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
Because I believe it. Because
it'd be a missed opportunity not to with how they're setting it up.
Because Kevin Feige said that with WandaVision being based on House of M, like within just premise of her just creating a universe to deal with her problems, and then people coming in and ruining it for her. There's like no other plausible explanation that she's still in her House of M storyline right now. Oh, yeah,
absolutely. Because that's where we last saw her. She's like pretending to just be in like the middle of nowhere, chilling out. But in reality, that's just like a projection. And she's been reading up on the Darkhold. And at the end of WandaVision, she hears the voice of her made-up children. calling out for her. And you see her doing that exact same thing in the trailer. Yeah.
The trees are other universes.
Oh my God.
No, listen, hear me out. This makes sense at the end of the day.
Okay.
If you disagree or say I'm wrong, or you just completely poop on it, that just makes you a bad person because I'm right.
Wow. I'm getting guilt tripped before it even happens.
Not legitimately other universes, but the reason... What is she doing to the cherry blossom trees?
That's a fair point.
Plumbing them.
Yeah.
Because that's what it's called when you snip the end.
Yes.
To keep it from growing, but keep it alive.
Yes.
Or not prune it. Same fruit.
It's okay, I don't know anything.
What did they do in Loki?
Dude. Okay. Because of how, like, particular, but also slightly lining up is...
It's identical, but not exactly.
So whether it's legitimately that, I don't know, but that is at least a very good metaphor that I hope is intentional because that's pretty good.
I think it's a metaphor for Wanda knowing what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, she's not really fixing anything because last time she did anything that was
her concept
related to it, she had a lot of people.
Yeah, her concept of fixing things is not great, as from what we have seen before. But yeah, this movie is just like everything is happening. And this is another thing I mentioned to you the other day when we were talking about this stuff. It's like, I was kind of afraid before Spider-Man came out that I was like, I'm afraid that too much will be happening and it'll take away from, like, the whole thing entirely because, like, not everything would get, like, enough. Mm-hmm. But no, they knocked it out of the park, knocked it out of the park, I should say. And, like, it all worked out. So, especially, since they nailed that and they know that for sure, they're like, okay, if we were able to do all of that, like, because so much happened in that movie, mm-hmm. and like still get to a conclusive, good, all-around ending, then I'm sure they should be more than confident in this. Yeah. You know, because it'd be like 5 months removed from that coming out.
I think they could do it in a very cool way because if it is 3 hours long, that's a lot of time to film. No matter who the big bad is or what's going on, it's a lot for 3 hours is a long time for someone to do something. Mm-hmm. Endgame had to do a 5-year time jump.
Yeah, right. Which no one knew about. You found it out when you watched the movie. It was not stated beforehand.
Yeah. So, what was I gonna say? Oh, so, like when he's fighting Big Squid Boy, Gargantos is his name. Just looked it up. Oh. Haha.
There's no okay.
His name is Gargantos.
You talk.
The CGI is based on Shumagorath, but the character is Gargantos. It's not the same Shumagorath.
Well, that's depressing.
They stole the name from a Namor villain.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Aw, man, you're right.
Wrecked.
Unless they say differently in the movie, in which case we'll find out.
Well, Marvel's already said that that's his name.
Well, all right, just you know.
Well, that's what I was saying. So like that could be like one of the most brief things you see in the whole movie.
Oh, probably.
Because literally, I mean, he's jumping from universe to universe.
It's what it looks like.
We've kind of waited to talk about it because it's one of the biggest things. But
yes,
there's a point in the trailer where you see Ultron bots.
Yes.
Leading our Doctor Strange, who's like handcuffed or just tied up.
Yeah, because from the trailer it seems like Baron Mordo, who's back and has way nicer hair. It's like, yeah, sorry, you ruined everything, so you need to go to like multiverse jail, basically.
Yeah. And so you see Ultron bots who look different than original Ultron. Yellow eyes. There's
silver.
Metal is silver.
Or like more refined, yeah.
Yeah, shinier, lighter colored silver than the dark that you see in Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
And so instantly everyone's like, oh my gosh, Iron Man variant, which is
possible.
A very possible case because that's literally what happens in the Superior Iron Man comic. Mm-hmm. And then also, when you're there, you see that there are 5 chairs lined up in this council-looking room. It's almost like a courtroom almost.
Yes.
And you see a hand on what is a wheelchair.
What appears to be the arm of some chair. Yes.
Well, yeah. Sorry.
Which could I was saying what
slender to be like
right? No, that's what I'm saying. Like it's a chair. It could be a wheelchair.
Yeah.
Is the main thing.
The voice you hear is none other than that of Patrick Stewart.
It is absolutely. They have never not said anything because why would they? But it is absolutely the voice of Patrick Stewart, aka the person who played Professor X in the Fox X-Men movies.
Exactly. Well, it's been more than a few months, so it's not a spoiler. Just like in the post-credit scene of Eternals.
Right.
It's Blade. You know.
Yeah.
Marvel didn't have to come out and be like, oh yeah, by the way, that's Blade.
Well, I mean, I think they did because I didn't know. I wouldn't have known if they didn't tell me.
No, someone else deciphered it online.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. I heard somebody tweet about it, and I was like, oh.
Oh yeah, that is Mahershala.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
And then also, he didn't do it on purpose, but I think it was Kimmel asked him about it in an interview on his show.
Right.
And he was like, "Oh yeah, that was me."
Oh, okay, cool.
He was like, "You don't know how weird it is to be integral to a scene,
and not be there,
just in a booth."
Yeah. But a big thing with this being Patrick Stewart is that because it obviously is like even on this, I just realized like closed captioning is on my YouTube. I don't usually have that, but I'm glad I had it by mistake because it literally just even labels it as mysterious voice, and all it has is the voice, which is clearly Sir Patrick Stewart. Is like we should tell him. So so this leads to people to believe since there's 5 chairs there, it's all like white and all this stuff, and it seems like some like society of some sort, that it is none other than a live action portrayal of the Illuminati, the Marvel version, which is a bunch of like major superheroes / sometimes villains, and they're like the Marvel version of the Illuminati. Like they like control and do stuff from behind the scenes.
Yeah. So the Illuminati in the comics is Iron Man,
yes,
Professor X, Namor, Reed Richards, Doctor Strange, and Black Bolt.
Yes.
And
so it's people from all over the place of the Marvel universe, but all together. It's clear we're gonna see Patrick Stewart in some way as some form of Charles Xavier. If I see Black Bolt in a not awful way, because we don't talk about the other thing, he probably won't be him. But I'm saying it's gonna be. I'm saying like if it is, it's not gonna be the stuff they tried before because that was. Ugh.
I'm just saying. I can assure you. Black Bolt.
Yeah. Because there's also other people that have been in and out of the Illuminati as well.
So rumors are rumors.
Of course.
Obviously, and this isn't me saying it's true or not. This is more of like a
speculation.
Speculation.
Yes.
Because it makes the most sense in my brain.
Mm-hmm.
So, Iron Man variant could be, it could be Tom Cruise like it's rumored. It could be just some regular Joe off the block.
Yes.
Maybe RDJ agreed to let them CGI his face onto someone else.
That's another thing too with the multiverse. It doesn't even have to be like a big casting. It could just be some Joe Schmo because it's the multiverse.
So Charles Xavier, Iron Man. It'll be probably Defender Strange. He seems because the Illuminati isn't necessarily bad in the comics.
Right.
They're just like order with too much order. Like
they have a lot of they try to have order, but they have too much control.
Exactly. And then so those are 3 that will more than likely definitely do it because no one else is going to control Ultron bots because Xavier's smart and whatnot, but he doesn't like robots. You see how they would deal with
right.
signals.
Yeah, that's true. And then also the possibility of I don't even think there were rumors or really just once of at least one appearance of I don't recall his name, but the guy who played Mr. Fantastic, Reed Richards in the Fantastic Four. I don't remember either.
Yeah,
but
it's rumored that it's either him or Krasinski.
Dude, if they actually pull off John Krasinski after it turning into a meme, basically, that'd be incredible.
So, I was like, that's not gonna happen. I was like, you guys are just fishing.
I thought the same thing too.
Apparently, Krasinski's been spending he spent 5 months straight in the gym.
Oh shoot!
For a few weeks.
Aww.
Which could be whatever.
Yeah.
He does other roles that require action,
of course.
All Quiet Place and Jack Reacher.
Yeah.
He was Reacher. There's other.
We've gone over this before. It's whatever. Yeah.
Amazon did another one that's Jack something.
Yeah, and I thought it was the same thing. Yeah. We've had. It's not. Yeah, we had this discussion already.
But so no matter who it is, it's probably going to be a form of Reed Richards.
Yes.
And
you'll be able to tell by the hair.
Namor's been rumored too.
Okay.
For Black Panther. So
I missed that. Okay.
So why not have at least a variant of him?
Right.
But hear me out.
Okay.
Substitute Black Bolt.
Yes.
President Loki.
Aw, dude.
No, listen, because in Loki, that variant of him, the one that says Loki for president.
Yeah.
He was the one that was all order and no chaos, and someone was like, "How can you be the trickster god with no chaos?"
That's a fair point.
And we know he's in the movie at some point.
Yes, I would say it said
Loki's in the movie at some point.
Yes, and which they led you to believe. Yes.
It could be the one that we main Loki.
Yes. But that's the thing, just because like that, only that Loki is like confirmed does not mean that Tom Hiddleston's there. He could play 40 Lokis like he did already.
Because that scene could be very minimal.
That's the thing with a lot of this. A lot of this stuff, like every other scene, this could be the whole movie. This could be like 2 minutes. Yeah. Like that's what's even crazier. We have no idea what's happening.
Okay, so since we're running out of time here.
Yeah, so we already gone a little over, but this warrants it.
Speculation-wise, here's what I think.
Right.
I think that obviously when he's fighting Gargantos, that's going to be very quickly because
that's like beginning of the movie.
I think that's when he first runs into America Chavez. And because later on when you see that giant thing that looks like NetherRealm's Injustice version of Scarecrow, holding America.
Yeah.
Her star portals that she kicks to travel across universes.
I forgot that was her whole shtick, and I forgot she was in this movie.
And it looks good.
It really looks nice. That looks super cool.
That was my biggest thing about America Chavez. I was like, stars are not going to look cool.
It looks cool. And there's also looks like a variant of either Monica Rambeau or Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel at one point. That's just insanity.
I watched the reaction to it. The guy goes, Human Torch. No.
Oh my God. I love when people guess wrong on that stuff. It kills me every time.
So my speculation is that Illuminati thing is going to be just fan service for about 10 minutes.
Probably.
Because I think that would be the best way to do it.
Yeah.
Because
it doesn't have to be integral.
Storyline is loved, but there's no place for it in the MCU.
That's fair.
So it's literally going to be like an in-between moment of him like finding out what's going on.
Yeah, that's the exposition dump.
Yeah,
and if Patrick Stewart's doing it, everyone's going to love it. I will.
That's when Defender Strange is like, get this dude.
Yeah, what is this? Look at this dude.
Yeah. He's like, all right. And then that's when America Chavez comes in, knocks him out of his wheelchair to be a meanie head.
Oh no. Hasn't he suffered enough? Jeez.
I don't know.
I guess not. Oh, you should.
I'm just kidding.
I was going to say. Anyways, we're finally going to go to break. That was quite a long one. But we have some smaller things, so it works out. Yeah. When we come back, we're going to talk about some other stuff that was shown at the Super Bowl as well. Some cool trailers for stuff. When we come back on Sean's Talk Show. Well, that's unfortunate. That's really unfortunate.
I didn't know if it's because I went live earlier, if there's like a time limit or something.
I will say, hi Twitch, I wish you said something sooner, because that's really, really, really depressing.
I'm confused, my guy.
I just never pressed live is the problem.
I know, but it just popped up and said that we had a 8-second clip of shut-ins just now post.
That's weird.
My brain is melting. Are your headphones low, or is it just this headset?
And we are back with the Shut-Ins Talk Show. Apologies to those who were trying to watch on Twitch. It is live now. It was not before. That is my bad. Like I said, it's been 2 weeks without the show. I was bound to forget something. Sucks that that's what was forgotten, but we deal. Those things happen. If you want, we can definitely pull the first break off of our stuff and splice it together, probably just as audio only at the beginning of the show. That wouldn't be too hard. But yeah, the first break we talked about the Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness trailer, so I definitely want people to still hear about that. But speaking of stuff that happened at the Super Bowl, or that aired rather, because the Super Bowl probably already got talked about on Sports Extra, and we don't talk about that here. We had another spots.
Wait, time out. One thing we can talk about on Shut-Ins about the Super Bowl is how cool the name Joe Shiesty is. I just want to make that known real quick. That's it.
All right. Anyways, so they have we had a little bit more of Moon Knight to stay on the topic of Marvel stuff that came up. It was only a 30-second one compared to 2.5 minutes or whatever that we got of Doctor Strange. We have another 30-second spot for Moon Knight, which shows a lot of the same, but also still some newer stuff and some splices of scenes.
You get a better look at certain things.
Yeah, and I know you had mentioned that there were some more comic references in this that I possibly would not get, and I'm very interested in those.
Yeah, there's a couple comic things that show up, specifically, which I don't know. We can just do it how we normally do. Start from top, and then when we get to it, I'll talk about it.
Right.
But yeah, it opens up just like any other TV spot usually does with Marvel, which is just out of the blue. It starts.
Yeah, things just start happening. Yeah.
That was my favorite part about the WandaVision one is because like you're 10 seconds in before you realize, oh, this is a commercial for like the show. It's not just a random Super Bowl ad.
Yeah, or it's not like it's not just like a TV spot like it's not actually the show, but it's just like a commercial for like Disney Plus or something.
Yeah, and it was really cool because that was like the start of Marvel on Disney Plus, and so that was dope. What was I gonna say though? Oh, but it starts off just like other ones, and you see Oscar Isaac. We get a better look at Ethan Hawke's character.
Yes.
And his relationship to Mark Spector.
Sort of, yeah.
Well, kind of, sort of, yeah. Like sort of works because you see that they talk to each other, and Ethan Hawke's character at one point is like, "Are you gonna listen to those voices in your head, or are those voices in your head still there?"
Yeah.
And which that's super cool to me because that's literally how manipulative his character is in the comics, and I just love Ethan Hawke. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, no, I don't blame you.
So good.
Yeah, as I say, and the whole thing with Moon Knight being that he just has a pharaoh in his head that becomes Batman, but that wears white.
Yeah.
At just random times, with someone who's already schizophrenic or at least like somewhat disturbed.
Yeah.
With stuff like that.
I love how it's funny you said Batman but wearing white.
Mm-hmm.
So you know how like when Batman extends his cape, it's not the bat logo, but
it's kind of like a bat wings.
It's shaped similar enough.
It's like actual bat wings. Yeah.
My favorite part about this TV spot is when he jumps off the roof and extends his cape and his whole body turns into a moon, basically.
Yeah, it turns into a crescent moon shape. And then right after that, you see one of his famous, and this is a direct quote, moon-based projectiles.
Yeah.
Of him, it's basically a batarang, but moon. Yeah. I don't know if they call it something.
They're called moon blades.
Oh, yeah, no, they are.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Moon blades, moon scythes, something like that.
Yeah,
he can throw them. He uses them as little size and whatnot.
Or just knives. Yeah, just
it's great.
I was gonna say they don't look sharp all the time, but I'm pretty sure he still stabs people. And
if you punch hard enough, that thing's puncturing.
Well, that's fair. I was gonna say whether he's it's sharp or not, he's still gonna. Because from that one poster they showed a couple months ago when they were announced the release date, it's just blood dripping. Basically, I don't know if that's exactly what it was supposed to look like, but that's what it looked like. So
what other red goo would be dripping from his blade?
I've not seen the picture. I couldn't remember if it was fully red or they're kind of doing it's just kind of oh, that's gonna be violent, but you don't know how much.
They're not Hitchcock.
I don't know. That's fair.
No, but so there's this part in the TV spot where you see the character of Moon Knight.
Yes.
But he looks more dapper. And
that's true.
Not like he's wearing bandages.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is not Moon Knight.
Oh.
That is Mr. Moon.
Oh.
Because in the comics, there are different Moon Knights for Mark's different personalities.
I did not know this
at all. And in the comics, Mr. Moon is essentially... So picture how violent Batman is, and then picture how violent Alfred is in comparison.
Okay.
That's the difference between Moon Knight and Mr. Moon. Mr. Moon is the more chilled, laid-back one. He still has weapons. Mm-hmm. He still fights.
If he needs to.
He does more intellectual arguments and figuring stuff out. Yeah. Whereas Moon Knight is literally Batman. If not only Batman's parents, but the whole city of Gotham just blew up.
Yeah, and he's just
that's how much rage he has.
Yeah, all vengeful all the time.
Completely unhinged.
Yeah.
Like a half-inflated bouncy house. That's how unhinged he is.
I feel like it's understating it still. Honestly.
Just a little bit. For people who don't get it, half-unhinged, half-inflated bouncy house.
I was going to say, look up anything
One of the kids are getting...
I was look up anything about Moon Knight, and you'll be this character... you'll probably find memes first, kind of enhancing how insane he seems, but it's not far off. Yeah. He's still insane, in a good way, obviously. But yeah, that's what's great. All the dialogue in comics he's in, the action, just the stuff that happens. It's wonderful, and and it's clear that they're leaning into all that. Thankfully,
as they should.
Because again, that's what I've said before. This is one of the
I understand.
One of the biggest risks for a new character to push. I mean, since Eternals, but before that, it's one of the biggest ones because this is something that people know
and love.
And yeah, especially this because this is
but never expected to see it
this.
I
never did. I sure didn't.
So, I love that though because my thing is there was a lot in Avengers that they had to cut out because of Disney's strict PG-13 rules.
Right.
Because in Endgame, the original version that they had scripted out, there was supposed to be a scene where Thanos steps on the battlefield and throws the head of Captain America from the past, the one that Steve beats up, throws his head in the middle of the battlefield.
Yeesh, I didn't hear about this.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Because they were like, there was no blood, it was just his head, and it's gonna stop perfectly up, and you just see it's Steve Rogers.
Oh,
it wasn't gonna linger. It was just gonna be quick, just to show how brutal Thanos was. But Disney was like, no.
Yeah, we're not. I was like, we allow a lot more violence these days. But decapitations of one of our biggest characters in this franchise is probably not something.
It wasn't even about that. It was about the brutality of it. It wasn't about the character.
Oh yeah.
Because
wait, but this is the same movie that opened with a decapitation.
It was such a quick cut, and he's
That's
purple.
True. That's true. Yeah, his blood's
CGI.
purple. Mm-hmm. That's true. He's not a real person.
Yeah, and so but with these TV shows, they're slowly getting to where they can have more violence. Because there's no way Hawkeye and Kate Bishop were keeping people alive with all those arrows.
Yeah,
some of those dudes were getting murked.
Yeah, those dudes are getting killed.
Exactly.
This
is a good start.
No, I mean, it's a good start, but also now I'm realizing it. They straight up had a decapitation off screen, but a decapitation in Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Exactly.
And some people were saying like, oh no, he was hitting his chest. He'd sliced that dude's head off, and there was blood on the Captain America shield.
Well, the way the blood was splattered, that's a decapitation.
Yeah, no, that guy lost his head.
Also with that, I'm glad you brought that up because that was another point that was I've been reading on it because I want Moon Knight to be at least as close to the comics as he can.
Right.
I understand they don't want to make a rated R Hulu series for this.
Right.
They want it to be on Disney Plus.
Yes.
Sorry. That scene, if John Walker had been doing that in a movie of any sort, there wouldn't have even been blood on the shield.
Yeah.
Because of Disney's rules.
That's true.
But with Disney Plus, they're like, you know what? With TV 14, we can push it a little bit more and we'll allow it because at least then people have more warning.
Yes.
And which is great.
That's true.
And so I'm excited about that. And speaking of brutality, you get to see in this TV spot again, you see that creature thing that Moon Knight was beating up once again. I think it's even more brief in this one, not as much.
I don't recall.
There's been rumors going around that it's been confirmed that we are getting Werewolf by Night in
some sort of like Halloween special.
In a unnamed Halloween special.
Yes.
This year, I think. Yeah, this year.
I think so.
Yeah, this year. And I think it's great because there's a rumor that Moon Knight doesn't murk this creature werewolf-looking thing. There's a rumor that this is Jack Russell, aka Werewolf by Night, aka whatever they're gonna give, whatever name they give him in the MCU, because I know that they casted a Hispanic character.
Okay.
And so there's a rumor that this is him, and he gets sent out to try to stop Moon Knight because this is at the beginning of his Moon Knighterly, in which he's just excessively brutal for no reason.
Of course.
And so all I'm saying is this opens. I was talking about that Halloween special opening the door for all the supernatural characters.
This very well
Moon Knight.
Yeah.
I have a big feeling and hope in my heart that Moon Knight opens the door for it because Blade not only showing up in the Eternals.
Yeah.
But
technically.
Yeah. Well, you know what I mean.
Yes.
He was there at the post-credit scene talking to Kit Harington's character.
Yeah.
That just shows that Blade himself is at least not necessarily drafting, but at least getting connections.
So he's around, which means he's been around for God knows how long.
Exactly.
In behind the scenes on stuff. That's the thing. Last year, with we started off with WandaVision. We kicked off with WandaVision, and that was we were introducing magic. Yeah, last year's the year of magic. We're referring to like her stuff as magic. We're referring to magic more. Magic's all over the place. Magic's in Spider-Man. I mean, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
This is the year of the supernatural stuff.
Yeah.
We're getting pharaohs in dude's head. We're getting werewolves. We're getting, I mean, God knows what else. This is the door we're opening.
I think the Blade movie is going to bring in an MCU version of the comic character Dracula.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
Either that or they might have a riff on the old comic storyline where the Punisher and Blade both take on Morbius. Because it has been confirmed that not only Charlie Cox, but John Bernthal, however you pronounce it, it's been confirmed that he will be playing Punisher when they get to it.
Oh, did they? Because I know they had Charlie Cox. Did they confirm John Bernthal?
John Bernthal himself was like, yeah, I'm doing it. I just don't know
sick.
when.
Good stuff.
And so
right on. So they just have him on speed dial.
Yeah, which means, we could get, I don't know if they'll do Jessica Jones with how big the MCU is, how they could. But
yeah, especially because like this is
I loved her show.
Right, I was gonna say it's like I still need to finish all of them. I didn't finish all of them.
The only recast I'd be okay with would be Iron Fist.
Everybody says that.
But even then, I liked that version of Danny.
Yeah,
it wasn't his fault the show was in.
Yeah, it was just
it was the whole show.
It was the whole show overall was kind of like whatever, and then like he was also the fourth. He was like the forgotten child. Like exactly. Everything else was like banger, banger, banger. They kind of like ran out.
Jessica Jones was slept on.
Yeah, also slightly. Like related to this, those Netflix Marvel shows being taken off of Netflix at the end of the month, and more than likely going to what'd you say, Disney Plus? It's like I figured who
more than likely.
Okay, that's weird because those are like way more violent. Because
I remember Feige saying they are MCU shows, but they're just not going to like. They're not going to be like, oh crap, there's Spider-Man swinging around.
Yeah, it's not going to be like blatant.
Just because there's no need to.
Yes.
They're like, but just know they're connected for if they need to come.
Yeah, and that's how it was when they were originally made from Netflix. Because like it was like once per season they would be like, oh yeah, mentioning New York a couple years ago, and it's like I get it. Or I think in the first season of Daredevil, the one that started it all, one of the characters was like, I think in the background there was like a blurred newspaper of the Hulk. Messing up. What town was that? Was that Harlem? That wasn't Harlem. No, that's Luke Cage. I don't remember.
Brooklyn.
But Brooklyn, I think.
Because
yes.
Jessica Jones was a different part of New York, not Brooklyn. Because it's Daredevil's Hell's Kitchen.
Yes.
Harlem was Luke Cage.
Yes.
Jessica Jones was a different one, and then Danny Rand was just like there.
Yeah, he was. Damn, man, poor guy. He really was just there.
Literally, that poor guy.
He really was.
Him so dirty.
He really was just
He's
there.
Such a cool character.
Yeah, I was like, the character is good overall. It's just
sad. When
the execution was unfortunate.
It's sad when I like the Disney XD version than the live action version.
No, it's not sad. Marvel nails it with their animated stuff. So,
chill.
I'm just okay. More often than not, I was gonna say more often than not.
Not all of it.
That is true.
More I mentioned this is the same show that changed its title 9 times. Ultimate Spider-Man, Sinister Six, Ultimate Spider-Man, Web Warriors.
Wait, was that? I thought that was like season names. They actually changed the name of like the show.
On Disney Plus, it's all under Ultimate Spider-Man.
Oh, okay, never mind.
But when it was on Disney XD, it had the different name in the show title.
That is kind of annoying, yeah.
But
that is
what I was saying was
yes.
But what I was saying was like we don't know what or who Moon Knight could lead into, but it's a start.
Yes.
And I'm excited because
this is opening.
Short of Spider-Man, because, I'm probably the biggest Spider-Man fan in the state of Indiana.
That depends on if Chris Lopez is also here or not, but yes.
As of right now, he's in Chicago.
Okay, then yes, you.
But, I love Spider-Man. That's, whatever. But short of that, I literally lived and breathed the Supernatural comics for a while.
Yeah.
Because Werewolf by Night, I had one of those huge books that was just every single issue in one book.
Oh, like one of those omnibus things.
Yeah. I had one of those. Sick.
Right on.
I got all of the Marvel Zombies in Marvel Zombies Return.
Right. And you're feasting over here, bro. You're getting all your stuff.
Exactly. I used to read
Zombies, Werewolf by Night,
all in
by extension.
All in less than a full year. I will have arguably the best Spider-Man film ever made.
Yes.
And at least 2 of my favorite Supernatural Marvel characters on live action.
Yup.
And
feasting. Gavin Cook, everybody, feasting this year. Marvel is handing everything. I was like, I have Moon Knight. I can retire. I can never watch anything again. Like this is the most out of nowhere thing ever, and still to me, like it doesn't feel real that end of next month I'm gonna be watching a live action Moon Knight show. Like that doesn't make sense to me.
It would be the Madrigal. If I got Daredevil also.
Well, yeah.
Like more Daredevil, I mean.
Right. Which
if you haven't seen No Way Home,
it's been 2 months. I'm sorry.
It's been
like as of
it's been over 2 months.
It was like the 15th it came out, wasn't it?
Came out the 14th.
Okay, yeah, no, it's been like 2 months. Whatever. But we are gonna go to
2 days.
I was say we're gonna go to break. When we come back, we actually have one more of the Super Bowl spots to talk about. I wasn't sure this 30 seconds would get us to talk for this long, But it did, and I'm happy about it.
Yeah, just like the next one, we were thinking it's going to be short, but we'll probably talk the whole 15.
Well, we'll figure it out. And you'll learn what that is when you come back on the Sean's Talk Show.
We're so all over the place right now, dude.
I know. Dude, it sucks. It really sucks. Not being here for 2 weeks is, I knew something would happen, man. I am annoyed that it's, I am still annoyed that the thing I forgot was to go live. That is very sad. What are you messing with?
I'm trying to figure out which one it is that I hear good. Because for some reason I can only hear the ads.
Oh, really?
I think that's good. I think that's the one. Whoever moves it, I'm going to be very mad at.
It's just so you know it's been moved for sure?
Well, yeah, because every time I have to fix it whenever we do shut-ins.
I have to ask Joe and Christian about that. Because I think they should be the only ones moving that, if anything.
Well, it's not that big of a deal if they are.
Yeah, but just so we know.
I just need to know which one's working because I can't hear myself very well or you at all through the headset.
Okay, that's weird.
Especially when I have, making sure everything's working in my ear.
Bum, 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 bum. And we are back with the Shut-Ins Talk Show. So outside of some superhero business, I know you're excited about this. I was like, all of this is your bread and butter today.
I've been
like literally everything.
Munching.
This show is just made for you.
This
today.
is the Gavin Cook show.
Yeah, 2 weeks without of an unintentional break because of unfortunate circumstances, and we come back and it's just everything we're talking about is everything you care about. So in this one, bring us in, Gavin.
Okay,
since you
Jacob,
clearly can't even contain your excitement.
I can't. Let me have a little conversation with you.
Oh.
Did you ever watch the movie Get Out?
I did.
Did you ever watch the movie Us?
I did.
You are in luck because Jordan Peele has a new trailer for his new movie entitled Nope, which is coming in July, nonetheless. And
that is a lot sooner than I thought.
And let me tell you, I don't know what's going on.
Seems to be the theme of the Super Bowl spot ads for movies and shows.
That's the theme of all of his trailers, though.
That's true.
Because when the Us trailer, everyone's like, what the heck?
Yeah, I remember that.
So what I do know from looking it up on IMDb, which it makes fits a little bit better, the TV spot is actually different than the trailer you see on YouTube now.
Oh, okay. Because I'm watching the trailer right now. So I have no frame of reference.
So it starts off, and Jacob, you'll know this from our film class. You remember the first film ever made?
Yes. The first thing ever recorded on film was a horse running.
It was a man running on a horse.
Yeah, so they could prove that at one point or another, all 4 of a horse's hooves are off the ground.
Yeah, and so you see that, and you hear Keke Palmer, who plays one of the main stars, or main characters.
Yeah.
You hear her talking about it. And she goes, he was the first black man on camera. And she goes, she explains it and whatnot. And then she goes, and he was my great, 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 great grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
And then I always mess up his last name. But the guy from Get Out, Daniel.
Yes.
He is also there. And he plays her brother, I think. It's either her brother or her boyfriend. I think it's brother because he corrects her very quickly. He goes,
what?
He goes, great. He adds another great.
Right.
And so you know that these people are horse farmers for Hollywood. Farmers, that's not the word I want to use. They basically breed and stable horses that are used in films in Hollywood. Mm-hmm. So they're in California. And short of that, there's I can't tell if it's aliens, if it's ghosts. I think it's aliens. It might be aliens.
I'm watching now.
Yeah, Jacob's eyes, I don't think I've ever seen them that big before.
I was going to say, you were like, oh, man, what's happening? And I wasn't able to watch it until, really watch it until right now. And what is happening? I'm just as lost.
So
there's a
seems
big
like aliens?
Yeah. I was like, the end part's really the main thing. Well, I was like, there was some weird lights in the distance. That tends to be alien stuff. And, yeah, they have, at one point, somebody has a veil over their face and goes up and they got a weird mouth.
They look like
a weird alien.
What is it?
They got no lips. It's just all teeth.
There's that character in a movie that looks like that, but they're actually normal and people bully them because of it. I don't know. I can't remember. Another horror thing. But yeah, that part I was like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah, and then it's not till the end, like the end of the trailer, where there's like a big windstorm and Keke Palmer gets like thrown up into the air and then just goes, nope.
Yeah.
And I feel like,
which also is a play off of one of my favorite tropes that Jordan Peele uses in his films, is he takes all of, like, the criticism that comedies and like just sketch artists have used when it comes to watching a movie, where they're like, don't go in the basement then.
Yeah.
Because in at least one of every of Jordan Peele's movies, there's a meta moment where it does that. And so in this one, the trailer, it's when Keke Palmer sees something in the sky, she's staring at it, and she goes, nope, nah, not happening today, and runs. And just takes off. And that's
I ain't checking
so
that
great.
out.
And I think it's funny that he named the movie Nope.
Yeah, that's why I'm starting to think, I don't know why, this could just me just like making connections where none exist. But I feel like when it comes to like, whenever somebody sees something happening in an alien movie, like the viewer watching something, like if you're watching like Alien or something, you know, whenever something like weird happens, and they're just kind of like, oh, what was that? And they like investigated noise. It's like usually like you specifically say, nope, don't do that. Nope, I would be out of there. When it comes to like like horror movies, yeah, but also like, you know, alien movies, or like whether it's sci-fi or like thriller or any combination. Like I don't know. I feel like it just makes. I feel like that's a usual reaction whenever something alien happens. People are just like, nope, count me out.
That makes sense. It was a weird conclusion.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, it could just be like, I
don't know how you got there, but
I don't.
It makes sense though.
Because in general, like obviously, it's like a horror thing.
Glad
you just don't know.
I'm just glad you further explained it.
Yeah.
Because that made no sense at first.
I never make sense.
It's funny you say that. Because I don't know what it could be. Just like with us.
This is a great first trailer.
With us, I thought it was multiverse shenanigans.
Oh, you did?
Or something like that, or like an evil twin thing, because you didn't see that the whole family looked like them.
Right.
And so, which I mean, in a way, kind of was, but like,
yeah.
Get Out.
I was like, the explanation for that's kind of all over the place.
I thought Get Out was gonna be a slasher flick based off the trailers. So who knows what Jordan Peele's gonna hit us with?
Right, he's very good at misdirection with the trailers.
This could end up being a slasher flick, and we wouldn't know.
It's true.
It could be a zombie flick based off that character we saw.
Yeah, based off that weird individual. Yeah.
It could be superhero gone rogue, another Brightburn type movie. You never know, dude.
Yeah, we will not know until we see it.
All I'm saying is my excitement is here, and this episode of Shut-Ins in general, my excitement is here.
Through the roof.
I am absolutely ecstatic.
Absolutely.
But no, I'm excited. I want to see how this ends, you know?
Yeah, I do like that's an interesting like just plot point to have, and I wonder how important it will be, like just something like small, like, oh yeah, I'm actually related to the guy that was first like filmed.
Yeah.
Ever.
Because there's always something like that plays a role, you know? Like
yeah, because like Arms Across America in Us.
Hands Across America and White Rabbits. And Get Out, Deer.
Yes. There's like one weird little thing that's like kind of like weirdly specific,
which somehow makes the movie make more sense.
But it somehow ties in and like makes sense.
Okay,
yeah.
I'm not even saying this just because I loved his first two movies. Jordan Peele just genuinely is one of the most unique and intriguing directors.
Oh, absolutely.
That have popped out in the past. What? It's been like 8 years. Maybe.
Oh, I was about to say 8 years.
2015 or 2016 is when.
7 or 8.
Seven or 8 years. He's just, it's crazy. I'm not trying to like, you know, toot his horn or like praise him or anything.
No, but he's like, I mean, he's got
genuinely, he has done some great things.
Yeah, he's got a great imagination.
He's done
clearly.
Even with the Candyman movie, he didn't direct it, but
he
was one of the producers and story writers. He flipped it on its head. I don't know if you've seen it or not.
I have not.
He flipped it on its head. Bottom line.
Gotcha.
With the stuff he did with Twilight Zone.
Oh yeah.
Because like they did episodes shot for shot, but then some of them were completely flipped on their head.
I still need to watch that.
It's pretty good.
Because I remember they had a Super Bowl commercial a couple years ago. Because I remember I was just watching it, and all of a sudden it like shows a bunch of people in the crowd at the Super Bowl as if it was like live footage, and all of a sudden it just blinks and they're gone. And I was like, what? That was one of my favorite like trailers, like incorporating the like a sports game ever. Because then all of a sudden you start hearing like his voice talking. I'm like, is this the Twilight Zone? Because like it just, even though he like was saying like, because he was saying like similar things to, I don't remember the original guy's name, but was saying similar things like the things without, you know, questions without answers stuff. And I was just like, is this the Twilight Zone? And it's just like, oh, the Twilight Zone is back and Jordan Peele is here. It's like, what is this?
Yeah. Which is crazy too, because they did some shot-for-shot remakes, added some new stuff.
Right.
He flipped old ones on their head, ones that weren't very popular.
Yeah,
That's
I need to.
nuts.
I need to watch that because I've seen random stuff of Twilight Zone.
Yeah, but bottom line is, we need to go to break.
Yes.
I'm excited for this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Looks good.
Absolutely.
I'm still confused though. I'll probably still be confused until the second I see it.
Yeah, me too.
Because they got one more trailer they're probably gonna put out.
Probably.
Like early summer before it does come out.
More than likely. But yes, we're going to go to break, and when we come back, our last little bit here at the end. Times have been real off, and I promise when this gets uploaded to YouTube, that the first break will be there. I will work on that.
I apologize.
We apologize for that. That was the one thing we didn't check. When we come back, we're going to talk about another one of Gavin's favorite things, because that's just what this episode was accidentally themed. When we come back,
hey man, Spider-Man wasn't here.
But we talked about him.
True.
Anyways, we'll see you in a second.
Oh, I forgot to tell you.
What?
When we do our Boba Fett podcast episode,
yes.
We should ask Joe to join us.
Okay.
Because he talked to me for like 10 minutes today, because he just now caught up with all of it.
Word.
Because he said, I was on episode 3 and I got bored. And I was like, after 3 is when it really starts picking up again.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, trust me, you got to finish it. And he was talking to me today, and he was like, what the heck?
Yeah, dude. Good stuff. Oh, man, yeah, my mom texted me like a half hour ago and was like, no shut-ins, because I forgot to text her that we were having it, and then it wasn't live. Oh, man. That's so sad. I'm so mad, dude.
That's crazy.
That's so sad. God. That's so unfortunate, dude.
In your mouth
is ours. And we are back with the Shut-Ins Talk Show. So like I mentioned before going to break, our last little bit of time that we do have here, which is like, 7-8 minutes. Gavin, is basically all you. You know all about this. I know basically nothing, so the floor is all yours.
So we mentioned it before when we got a couple of little teasers for it.
Mm-hmm.
The new animated series coming to Amazon Prime, which is not even a spin-off, it's just tied into The Boys. It's called The Boys Diabolical. And it kind of explained itself with a new trailer that came out, I think, today, actually.
3 hours ago from this article I'm looking at. Yeah. So, yes.
Came out today.
Earlier today.
So, picture Star Wars Visions, how, like, it wasn't like canonical, nor was it not canon. I don't know. It's going to be 8 different episodes, all of which is its own like different story in the Boys universe.
Right.
And the cast is stacked.
Yes, I saw that.
To name a few, like
I was like, when you showed me that when like they showed the cast like I think originally by itself and before this like trailer, and that alone was just bonkers.
Yeah. And so here, I have it right here. Jason Isaacs, Aisha Tyler, Don Cheadle, Kumail Nanjiani, Awkwafina, Kieran Culkin, Seth Rogen, Evan Goldberg, Christian Slater, Justin Roiland, Adam Sandberg, Kenan Thompson, Chase Crawford, Alana and Elliot Glazer, Giancarlo Esposito, Kevin Smith, Ben Schwartz, Elizabeth Shue, Anthony Starr, Simon Pegg, Michael Cera.
There he is.
Yoon Juno, and Nassim Pedrad.
Good
that's
Lord,
crazy.
That's even more people than like the picture show. That's even more than you told me originally.
Yeah. You know what's awesome about this though?
Mm-hmm.
Is so when the actual creators of the comic series The Boys made it, they based the main character Huey off Simon Pegg. And that's what his comic character looks like. Huey in the show, everyone in the show is going to look exactly like their comic counterpart since it's animated. And Simon Pegg is voicing Huey.
Yeah, so it's
with his Scottish accent.
That's wonderful.
And
I love that because like that doesn't usually happen a lot when somebody like bases like a design of like a character off of like an actual person. Exactly. And then them actually get to play it out. Like that rarely ever happens.
Yeah, and so it's obviously not for the faint of heart. Even
course.
if it's animated, it's The Boys, which is known for being unapologetically profane and graphic.
Yeah, I was saying that little teaser they had like a couple weeks ago was of a baby lasering people to death. So
yeah, and this trailer does no better in explaining that or redeeming itself, which it's fine. You know, if you can't handle it.
It also
don't
looks
watch
here that from this is still I'm looking at here. Some characters are animated in a different style completely.
Oh yes, that's why I compared it to Vision, because
wait, is every episode like kind of done differently, or like maybe not every?
Some look the same, others look more animated like, others look a different type of animation. So
I
maybe
missed that. Okay,
I could be wrong, but maybe the one episode where everyone's animated exactly like their comic counterparts, that's one where technically that episode takes place in the comic universe.
Mm-hmm.
Because if this was supposed to be a direct tie-in to the actual show, they wouldn't have like chosen the character designs that they did. Mm-hmm. But it's pretty cool though. So we always talk about how much of a POS that Homelander is.
Absolutely.
And Anthony Starr is actually going to be voicing Homelander for the show also.
Wonderful.
So we're gonna get all of the unfiltered crap that is him. But I'm bottom line is I'm very excited.
Of course.
There's not a whole lot other than that it's 8 different stories that it's going to be telling you throughout the whole thing.
Right.
There's not much other than that it tells you, that in the voice cast. Some of it's great, though, because I forget who voices the character, but there's this character who has hammers for hands. And he opens the door for this little girl, and he's like, come on in. And he goes, don't worry, not a pedo.
Oh,
and he looks across the street, and he screams at his neighbor, I told you! And then closes the door behind him.
Jeez.
And that just shows just how diabolical this show's going to be.
Also, I was looking on this one, because like this first picture, it looks more like, kind of like how Invincible, the show Invincible was animated, but then in the background, there's this dude that looks like he's out of like the Jetsons or like Venture Bros or something.
It'll probably have a mix.
And then this picture, this screen cap down here is literally just animated the exact same as Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
Like, this dude's doing the Rick and Morty face, like, as well.
Yeah. Well, Justin Roiland not only is helping voice.
You're right.
But, it's the creators of The Boys, Invincible, and Justin Roiland's helping with
makes
the
sense.
animation.
That makes sense, because that's all their
production
styles.
stuff. And, because, we've talked about it. Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg executive produced the original show.
Right.
And so it was their idea to bring this to screen, but they gave the animators for Invincible, Justin Roiland, and the writers for The Boys, they just gave them free reins.
Yeah, because it says here, like, it even labels episode by episode what it's inspired by. So the first one, which is like the Laser Baby one that they showed a preview of, it says the animation style is inspired by classic animated shorts like Looney Tunes. And then it says the next one, which is written by Justin Roiland, is in the style of Rick and Morty. Stop. And then this
Rick
one,
and Morty.
I was like, this next one, it says it's reminiscent of the original style of the Boys comic book.
Okay.
So like looking more like how it looks. Then one of them is inspired by French animations, which is interesting. Another one it says this one is with the one written by Awkwafina, which I didn't realize she was writing an episode. It's inspired by Saturday morning cartoons, so God knows how that's gonna go.
That's probably what the Jetsons looking character is from.
Maybe. And then this one, written by Aisha Tyler, didn't know she was writing an episode either. Is inspired by anime, and then one of them is inspired by popular Korean horror films, that's the most
Ringu.
Out of
that's
nowhere.
Japanese. Never mind.
That's the most out of nowhere on this one. And then this one, this final one, says it's in a style that's meant to be a darker take on American superhero animated shows that have come before.
Oh.
Which I feel like we've also kind of gotten that sometimes on more depressing ones, but then this show is just going to go like as depressing as possible.
Well, DC, the darkest they've ever got is Apocalypse, or the literally called Justice League Dark.
Well, I mean, since it says like on animated shows specifically, I was thinking like there's been some depressing episodes of like Batman Beyond.
Well, that's what I mean though.
Like
is like that's the darkest that DC's ever actually gotten. So you're right. Like,
yeah, I said the movies they kind of just go like one of them can be family friendly, one of them's just like, oh, the Joker is dead, like just go nuts.
Well, actually, Injustice is probably the darkest one now that animation.
Yeah, now that exists, yes.
Yeah, I forgot about that because
or like the Killing Joke, but that's mainly out of the implication, and that's how the comic
Killing
works
Joke
well.
doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't count because that's all
I'm
like.
surprised that
whole,
one's even rated R.
Yeah, because the whole thing with that one is mainly the ending of because it's obviously like pulled straight from the comic, and that's like the implied ending of you don't know what happened, but it was kind of uneasy.
Yeah.
So it's like it's just up to your interpretation.
Yeah.
But yeah, you had anything else?
I was just gonna say I didn't know all about that either.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
It's crazy how right I was about everything.
Right,
Shows how much of a nerd I am.
Yeah, it's also like you said. It was like it's kind of like Visions, and it's like, oh no, it's like exactly like that. It's pretty much.
Yeah.
It's the exact same concept, which
That's
is cool.
crazy.
I like that stuff.
That
should be.
That's
done
just
more.
the best way I could have compared it, with it being 8 different like themes and styles.
And then you were more right than you knew.
But that is all for us on Shut-ins today.
Yes, it is. Again, sorry about the Twitch fiasco. When you aren't allowed to do your show for 2 weeks, you forget some things. And unfortunately, the only thing I forgot was the most important part of pressing on and going live.
And so sorry about the breaks being all wonky.
Yeah, but
hey, it was good content.
Yeah, it was good content, and I will try to, at the earliest, get the YouTube upload out along with the if not together, then at least separate of the first break of today in audio form, because we can pull that. Yeah, it should be fine. But this has been the Shut-ins Talk Show. Once again, thank you so much for listening. I have been Jacob Pickett.
And I've been Gavin Cook.
And we'll see you all next time. All right, Twitch, I'm sorry.
We're back, baby.
Yeah, Twitch, I'm sorry I neglected you today. That was very rude of me.
I don't love you.
But yeah, you still got like 40 minutes of it, which, yeah, sure enough, we choose to go that long with the first break, and this happens. Anyways, let me get the right mouse. All right, bye, Twitch.